Captain's log, stardate 47111.1.
Stopper. Front and highly equipped content. Solar glare caused frequent gas eruptions. Crew completed their work with minimal loss of life. Collected minerals highly valuable. Assisted Corvax with industrial mission. Salvage crew performed cleanup operation on nanite-infested abandoned buildings. Nanite bulk contained. Harvested valuable scrap. Found large mineral deposit during planetary survey. Collected significant volume of ore. Core mineral analysis procedure failed to note elevated radioactivity. Contaminated material loose in the hold. Multiple components burned. Returned home to the fleet. Assumed formation of capital ship. Await the
What up, Jibbers? LP's back once again for another No Man's Sky Next Waking Titan update and analysis, because today we are going to be breaking down the brand new audio reveal, which was the Waking Titan Element 5 that you just heard there in the intro of this video. So I believe, and my assumption for this video, is that that audio is indeed new No Man's Sky Next in-game audio. There's some discussion at the moment whether or not some of that could be in-game, some of it could be Waking Titan stuff, but every other element unlock we've had so far has been 100% related to in-game content. So my basis for this video is that this is no different, and we are indeed hearing a brand new voice, which I assume is the new capital ship AI voice, and loads of brand new in-game audio effects and teases about the No Man's Sky Next content. So before we jump into my thoughts, theories and speculation, I'm just going to go through a transcript of the audio you heard there. I appreciate it's not entirely clear. That's Waking Titan. They give us these things in little teases and make it difficult for us, and we have to kind of work out what's going on. But the guys over at the Game Detectives have come to a consensus on what they think all of the wording actually says. So I'm going to read that out for you right now. We will stop her. Surfaced highly AI corrupted. Solar flare caused frequent gas eruptions. Crew completed their work with minimal loss of life. Collected minerals, highly valuable. Assisted Corvax with industrial mission. Special salvage crew performed cleanup operation on nanite-infested abandoned buildings, back compartments. Nanite bulk contained. Harvested a valuable scrap. Found a large mineral deposit during planetary survey. Collecting significant volume of ore. Third mineral analysis procedure failed to note elevated radioactivity. Contaminated material loose in the hold. Multiple components burned. Returned home to the fleet. Assumed formation of capital ship. The routes in danger. So that is the tease. That was the Element 5 unlock, the new game audio transcribed for you there and read out so you can clearly understand what it was actually saying. I'm now going to jump into my thoughts on that, and there is a lot of stuff in here which I think hints at some really freaking exciting features and mechanics and things that are going to be in the next update. So if all you wanted was the news and the update and what we actually got, that's what you've had. You can tune out now, or
you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Okay, so here we go. Firstly, I just want to kind of give my general overview and take on what I actually think this is, what it's telling us, what it is that we're actually hearing here. And to me, it sounds very much kind of like a captain's log, a mission report or something like that. Very much Star Trek kind of feel. You know, you start at the episode and you get a brief of what's been going on and what's happened and how the mission has gone in the little captain's ship log. That to me is exactly what this feels and sounds like. And I definitely think this is very much entirely focused around co-op missions, co-op gameplay, actual in-depth co-op mechanics of things, missions, quests that we can actually take part in together as a team in the No Man's Sky Next update. Now, anyone that's been following the channel for a while will know very well by now that since we first heard that multiplayer was going to be expanded in this update, I've been quite confident that it's going to be far more than the kind of multiplayer we get now, just being fleshed out with player models and proper synchronization. I've always said if they're going to focus on multiplayer this hard, if they're going to push it, if they're going to talk about it this much, it is going to be far deeper than that. And I definitely believe that. I'm pretty confident that when we jump into next, in our little co-op squads, in our little 2 to 4 player teams, we are going to see a whole load of that. Actual meaningful missions that you need other people to help you with, that you can go down onto a planet and take part in as a team, or that you can do up in space. Real meaningful content with the multiplayer, rather than it just being we can see each other and we can explore together, which even that on its own is really freaking awesome. But I just believe it's going to be so much more than that, and this little tease here is really hammering that home for me. I am very confident now that that is what we're hearing. That's what this is all about. And I also think this makes it quite clear that we are indeed getting co-op ships, the co-op capital ship that I believe is being referred to here. If you remember when we got the previous element unlock, which was the hologram tease of a brand new ship, I think at the time I was referring to that as a mega freighter, basically a big ship that to me very much seemed like it was a hint at co-op ships. A big giant ship that our little 4-player team can all crew together. And my basis for that at the time was the little annotations that we saw on the image. There were little points highlighted with annotations on. We couldn't make out what they said, but to me that very clearly hinted at co-op elements, with one person manning the turrets, one person doing the controls, one person doing the readouts and all that kind of stuff. Very much like your Star Trek bridge type crew. A group of you together, all having a role to play in piloting this big ship, which we now know is the capital ship by the wording here. So that is really freaking exciting. I think at this point we can agree that co-op ships and co-op gameplay and co-op missions are definitely going to be a thing, unless I am just completely misunderstanding the wording in this somehow, but I don't think that I am. So yeah, that is freaking awesome, guys. The co-op is coming. We know that. We know we're getting player models. We know we're going to be able to see each other, and it sounds like we're going to be able to do some really interesting stuff together as a team. So it's not just going to be, oh wow, you can go and explore together or mine together. That's definitely one of the things I keep getting commented on my channel. Great, now I can go and grind with friends and be bored with friends. Well, 1, the game is awesome already, and 2, nope, it's going to be much more than that. So yeah, pretty excited right now about all of this. Now I want to just kind of go through all of this line by line, because I think almost every single one of these lines to me hints at some very interesting things, or at the very least is making me think about some really cool possibilities for what it could be hinting at. So the first 2 lines here, really interesting. It says, "We will stop her, surface Heilig's AI corrupted." So it's the "we will stop her" and the AI corrupted bit that to me sounds very interesting. If you remember a very long time ago, when the NoManSky.com website first updated with a new piece of art, a new logo that was put in place for the next update, it was the red glowing Atlas symbol. In my very first 1.5 predictions video, I talked about this. I said that is absolutely a very strong hint at something that's going to be a very core focus or main feature for this next update. Every time they choose a picture for those logos, it's always something big that's being added to the game. We had portals for Atlas Rises, we had bases for the Foundation update, and we had the vehicles for the Pathfinder update. So the picture they choose for that logo is never a coincidence. It's always something big that's coming to the game. And I said back then, what I thought and what I suspected when I saw that red Atlas symbol was one of 2 things. Either Emily the Atlas was angry and she was going to turn on the player and attack us, or the Atlas was being broken down or corrupted or damaged or attacked in some way, and that's why it was like glowing red. And I think these 2 lines here could very much be linked to that. So "we will stop her." The only thing I could possibly think that that might refer to is Emily to Loop 16 to the Atlas in the game of No Man's Sky. It sounds very much like the players in this little mission report, in this little co-op log, are going up against some sort of female character, and my guess would be that that is the Atlas. That of course is my theory, that's not confirmed, but I definitely think, to me, it sounds like that's what could be happening here. And then of course it says AI corrupted. We know that Emily Loop 16 is the AI in game. She is the Atlas. We've managed to piece this together through Waking Titan. So I definitely think that's what's happening here. Something is breaking down in the simulation. The Atlas has been corrupted somehow and has now become a threat to the players, to the travelers, the interlopers, to us in game. And we're going to be having to go up against that. And I think that's going to be a big part of the expanded story that this update brings. Then the next line here, solar flare caused frequent gas eruptions. This just has me like freaking out right now. Solar flares, okay? So this is something that just does not exist in the game right now. There are suns in the game, but they don't really do anything. They don't have actual mechanics. They don't have gameplay elements. You can't actually go and fly to the sun in the game, in the systems at the moment. They're there. You can move them around in photo mode, but they don't actually have any impact on the game itself. But this is talking about solar flares, which can only, to my mind, be coming from a sun. And it also talks about that causing frequent gas eruptions. So my suspicion here is that we are going to see massively improved mechanics, systems, weather effects on planets and in space, all of that kind of stuff, you know, with suns actually being a thing, with gas giants actually being a thing, with like genuine natural disasters and events being able to happen, at least around the suns by the sounds of this. You know, it sounds like we're going to be able to see solar flares as an event in game, a dynamic thing that will actually happen in the game and then have an effect. It will cause frequent gas eruptions. I'm hoping that's something we can see visually. It's something that we can really actually look at and have to avoid and dodge and try and work our way around in the game. I'm hoping it comes along with a whole load of interesting things. Maybe we've got to try and pilot these capital freighters away from that and avoid it. Maybe that can damage the ships and we're going to have to scramble around in our little crews inside the ships trying to repair things as all the alarms and emergency systems are going off and all of that kind of stuff. Kind of like the Sea of Thieves type thing when your ship gets attacked and you're all running around below the deck trying to patch things up. That kind of gameplay, stuff like that, is one possibility. It could also be something like when you're down on a planet, a solar flare up in that system actually causes eruptions and weird weather patterns and behaviors to go on down on the planet, and you have to kind of take shelter or avoid those or overcome them, and it makes the planets more hazardous. Like, just so many things that this could possibly mean, that this could possibly give us, which all sound freaking insane. And this would absolutely be a massive change. Now, I hope I'm not reading too much into that. Maybe I am, maybe I'm too excited. But to me, actually talking about solar flares causing gas eruptions in this in-game audio sounds like a very, very exciting feature, and I cannot wait to see how that plays out. And I really hope we can actually see it and take pictures of it and stuff like that, because gosh, that's going to be absolutely incredible, guys. And honestly, I know I've been really excited about everything so far, but stuff like this, these little things we're seeing in this wording here, has got me thinking that maybe this is even bigger than I've been thinking about, you know, than I've been talking about, than I've been excited about. I've always said it's going to be a massive overhaul, it's going to be a huge update. Hello Games themselves are clearly confident that it is going to be a massive update, because they've gone and slapped that wording right on the front of the new Xbox box art. But things like this, solar effects and weather systems and gas eruptions, like, that's probably even more than I was hoping for. So yeah, like, if I'm right about this and it's not just some kind of story wording that doesn't really play into the gameplay mechanics, then this absolutely sounds like a ginormous freaking change and a very exciting one. Then there's a line about the crew completing their work with minimal loss of life. Again, I think this is very much hinting at co-op gameplay missions. A crew that fly together, that pilot a capital ship together, that can go off on their own and do things, achieve missions as their little squads, their little deployment teams going down onto planets. I think all of that stuff is definitely coming along with the co-op, and I think that's going to be so much freaking fun. And that's also why this whole time I've been saying that I do think we might see another mode for co-op. I do think we will have another mode added that really includes all of this, like, heavily co-op focused gameplay. I think the other modes will still have the synchronous player models gameplay, being able to meet each other and talk to each other and explore together, but I think some of this stuff, you know, the co-op based missions and the actual squad type gameplay is going to be reserved for that separate mode. That's my suspicion, at least. But yeah, again, all of that freaking exciting as hell. And then next we've got something that says, collected minerals, highly valuable. Not a huge one, but quite an important one, I think, if you ask me. There are a lot of people that have been wanting rare items, rare minerals, things like that that are genuinely hard to come across in the game and really have, like, exceptional value. Things that make you want to go and hunt for them. And that way, that feels way more special than just kind of mining minerals like we do now. So I think that's what that's hinting at, and I'm very pleased to see that. I think a lot of people will be pleased. Next, we've got quite an interesting line, which I'm kind of reserved about. It says, assisted Korvax with industrial mission. So straight away, my mind ran off thinking the NPCs, the Korvax that we see on planets, and probably all of the other races too, are going to be doing stuff. They're going to be walking around. They're going to be able to actually give us missions and interact and be way more developed than what they are now. And I hope that's what this is, but I just want to kind of point out that right now in the game, we do have a mission system. We can do missions for the different races, for the different guilds. And this could be just talking about that kind of current mission system, but also including the co-op stuff. So we could be picking up missions in the same sort of way, going to a space station, collecting one, and then going out as our little co-op squad to do them. Or, much more excitingly, it could be that NPCs in the game are going to be way more fleshed out. They're going to move around, they're going to talk to us, they're going to give us actual quests to go and do, and we're going to have these little side missions that kind of pop up in planets and on stations and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't want to get too excited about that one because I'm not sure which way that's going to go, but I hope it is that and it is going to be this huge overhaul to the NPCs in the game, because that would just be freaking insane. And then next we've got Special Salvage Crew performed cleanup operation on nanite-infested abandoned buildings, back compartments, nanite bulk contained, harvested a valuable scrap. So there's a lot going on here. We know we're going to be able to go out in our little co-op crews and do salvage missions. That's really exciting. We know we're actually going to be able to go out and do those and get some valuable scrap out of it, make some money, earn some units, and use that to build up our wealth as a team. So that's really exciting. But what has me going kind of crazy right now is it's talking about going down to do a cleanup operation in a nanite-infested building, and specifically calls out back compartments to that building. Right now, if you've been in any building in No Man's Sky, they are very, very small. The interiors of these buildings are tiny, even for one player. So to my mind, and I haven't seen everybody else talking about this too much, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but to me, this is a very clear indication that we are going to be getting new building types, and they have got to be much bigger than the buildings that we've got now. There is no way currently, as a 2 to 4 player team, you are going into a building and exploring it, finding back compartments, hunting around for salvage. It's just not possible. The buildings are tiny right now, so this to me sounds like we are definitely getting an overhaul to the buildings in the game. We're going to see loads of new assets. We're going to have hopefully buildings that are kind of like little mazes and stuff that we actually have to look around in, find stuff, and actually go on little hunts and salvages inside these buildings. So that right there is just like... Guys, I honestly don't think I've been overhyping anything. I don't think anyone who's excited has been wrong. I think, once again, just like with Atlas Rises, we've all been super excited. We've all been talking about all of this cool stuff that's been teased. We've all been speculating, theorizing, guessing, and I still think when this update drops, it is going to completely blow us away, and we are not even going to have come close to letting our expectation and hope get to the level where it would be disappointing when we get the update. I really think this is going to be so freaking huge, and all of this stuff right now, just like, it can't just be me. Come on, guys, this sounds insane. Buildings have got to be improved vastly for this to make any sort of sense. The only way I could see this like not meaning that is if this is just some kind of lore and story dialogue that you don't actually go and do, but that just makes no sense. It definitely is talking about actual gameplay missions that we're going on, in my opinion. That's what this whole thing sounds like. So yeah, definitely let yourself get a bit excited, even if you're reserved, even if you don't want to go too far. Like, just think about everything we've seen so far. Even with the little tiny bits we know for certain are coming, this is going to be a completely different game when next drops. And that's not even it. We've got the next couple of lines here talking about finding large mineral deposits when you're doing a planetary survey, collecting ore. But then it says something that I found quite interesting, which is third mineral analysis procedure failed to note elevated radioactivity, contaminated material loose in the hold, multiple components burned. So I think all of those things are linked. I think those couple of lines there are talking about like the same thing. It could be that the hold stuff and the materials burn in the hold, and those first couple of lines are just talking about stuff that happens on planets. But in my mind, when I read that and I think about it, what I'm getting from that is that you go to a planet, you're doing your survey, your planetary survey in your little crew, you find a planet that has some valuable ore, you go down to get it, but your analysis procedures don't pick up that mineral or that ore or that resource that you're gathering is actually highly radioactive, and then when you take that back to the ship, that's how you end up with this contaminated material loose in the hold. And that, of course, then leads to like a catastrophe on the ship. Again, like I was talking about, maybe something like you're all running around in your crew with the emergency systems, trying to fix it, trying to contain it, trying to fix all of the damage that is caused in the ship, the burning, the components breaking, the poisonous gas escaping or something like that. And that kind of like frantic panic to me sounds terrifying, because you guys know what I'm like with panic. But it also sounds incredibly exciting. Like, imagine being on your freaking capital ship with 3 of your friends and something like that happens. You just get this alarm going off and then you've all got to, like, mobilize immediately and try and coordinate your little containment mission to stop the ship blowing up or something like that. Like, that sounds like just sci-fi magic. And I cannot wait to see if it is going to be like that when the game comes. It certainly sounds to me like what that is, but I would like to see what other people think after hearing me say that and actually listening to the wording there. Is that what it sounds like to you? Am I getting things muddled up there? Because I don't know, like, this just sounds awesome to me. And it all makes perfect sense as well. Like, all of this stuff that it's talking about is the kind of stuff we see in other co-op open world exploration games, you know? And even, like, single-player games and stuff as well, you know? Like, in Subnautica, you've got the Cyclops that will get damaged and you have to, like, go and repair stuff. In Sea of Thieves, as I talked about, you're going down trying to repair the hull of the ship. Like, all of this just makes so much sense to be in a sci-fi ship game where you've got your little co-op crew together on a ship. These kind of events, you know, the solar flares, damage to the ship, getting attacked by another ship, you know, having to try and go and run around and panic and fix things with all the alarms going off. Like, that just sounds so right. Like, it feels like it fits so perfectly to me. And at the same time, it's so far away from what we've got in the game now. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think. Like, could this all be real? Like, is that actually coming? It sounds like it is. This is an actual Waking Titan element unlock. Everything else so far has been in-game stuff. There's nothing to indicate that this isn't in-game stuff. And nothing that's ever come out of the Waking Titan previously for Atlas Rises turned out to be not true. You know, everything we saw, everything we've ever gotten as a tease through the Waking Titan has materialized in the game. It's always been there. It's never been over-exaggerated in the teases. It's never been a lie. It's never been cut when the actual update was dropped. And what's even more exciting to me is, like, normally, if this is like the last update, the stuff we're getting teased through Waking Titan is probably only going to be one, like, tiny little bit of what we're getting. Like, we're not getting everything. We're not getting the detailed patch notes in these teasers. When that trailer releases, when the patch notes do drop, there's going to be a whole load of new stuff that we haven't seen yet through Waking Titan. So this is still only, like, a little bit of that. And I can't do it anymore. Like, I can't pretend to contain my excitement or my hype at this point. I am just so ready for all of this, and I cannot wait to experience everything that this is talking about when next comes, because it just sounds so good. So freaking good. But yeah, please, please do feel free to, like, put stuff in the comments if you think I'm completely misreading something here, if you've got a different take on it or a different idea, or even other possibilities that you think this is hinting at that I've missed. Put all of that in the comments. I want to kind of read it. This one, more than any of the others so far, has just got my hype going crazy. It's not been helped at all by the fact that I received that signed box for the No Man's Sky Next Xbox One, like, physical release without the disc. For anyone that missed that, I haven't actually got the game, but I was given a copy of the box, and right there on the wording it says the massive next update. Even after all of this stuff that I've been talking about, all of the excitement that some of us have got going on, I still feel like we're going to be getting so many surprises and so much goodness that we haven't even thought about yet. The last couple of lines here, still really interesting, but I think is kind of going over what I've already talked about. So, returned home to fleet and assumed formation of the capital ship. Again, definitely all hinting at this co-op gameplay. We are in our co-op fleets. We can have our multiple ships together, flying in a fleet, going back, returning to the main ship, the capital ship that we can all gather on and get into and crew together as a team. And don't shoot me down for that. I've given you the exact wording. I've given you the actual audio. So if you're one of those people that just does not let yourself get excited and doesn't want to get overhyped, then just listen to the audio. Just listen to the transcript that I read out at the start and just stop there. Base your expectation on that alone. But to me, like, there is just so many things that are exciting in this that I think it means for what we're going to see in the update and the co-op stuff. So yeah, like, I'm definitely having a very good day right now as I read through this and kind of break it all down and think about everything that we've seen so far. I just can't help but believe, like, in my heart that this is going to be absolutely incredible. So that's pretty much everything that's on there. There is one last little thing, the final line there, that I want to talk about that is also quite exciting, and that says the route's in danger. So to my mind, that's talking about a route out in space when we're in our ships. We're planning where we're going to go to, you know, where we're going to warp to, which system we're going to go to, which planet we're going to fly to, something like that. Could just mean it's an area that has like pirates operating or something like that. Very much like what we see in the game now, but it could also be hinting at so much more than that when we kind of think about some of this other stuff. So when it talks about the solar flares and gas eruptions, this could be the kind of thing where it's like we're planning a warp route, we're planning our path to this area that we have to go to for a mission, and we're doing that little thing on the galactic map, like marking out where you're going to go next. It could be that as we're kind of scanning that and analysing the route, it comes back and it tells us this is like a high asteroid area, or this area has gas eruptions, or there's been a solar event there, so it's dangerous to fly through. Or it could also be some of the stuff that I've talked about before on the PvP side of things. You know, like you scan a system and it comes back and says this is like a PvP enabled system, or that there's other players in this system that could attack you or something like that. So that routes in danger thing has a lot of possibilities. All of them are quite exciting, but just the fact that we'll be able to kind of see that before we make our move sounds, I don't know, that sounds pretty tense to me. Like, you've got a mission to do, you're about to go out and do it, you're planning your journey, and your little scan or your analysis or your report comes back and it's like, this is a highly dangerous route, are you sure you want to do this? And then, like, you have to make the decision, like, do we go and get this valuable salvage? Do we go and complete this mission? Do we try and find a longer route around? Or do we, like, just go for it, all guns blazing, jump through and see what happens and get thrown into the madness? So again, that's just, like, another really exciting thing. And, like, all of these little things to me just sound like really huge developments in terms of the actual gameplay loop of the game, you know? I love just freaking exploring. Like, with nothing else in the game, if you just give me really beautiful planets to go and explore, beautiful colored systems, interesting galaxies that I can travel to if I want to, like, that for me is just everything I need from the game. But all of this stuff on top of that, with all of the stuff that's already been added previously, you know, the stories, the missions, the guilds, the exocrafts, the base building, the farming, like, there's just so much stuff here that I'm just like, I feel like I'm going to be able to play this game forever and never ever get tired of it. And that is just really freaking exciting for me. Hopefully you guys are as excited as I am. Even those of you that are reserved, that are skeptical, that always kind of try and bring us down and calm things down and tell us not to expect things or get too excited. I mean, be a little bit excited right now. We've got some really good stuff coming. Whatever actually happens, this update is going to change the game. It's gonna be good. We've never been disappointed with an update before. They've been getting bigger and bigger each time. We know this one is so much bigger than what we've seen before. And every little tease that we're getting out of Waking Titan at the moment right now is just so exciting. So yeah, I don't know. That's it from me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did enjoy it, please do drop a like or a comment, and I will catch you in the next one very, very soon. And of course, we do not have long to wait now until we're all playing together and being excited together as one community without arguments in the No Man's Sky next update. So yeah, take care, guys, and peace. Just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all of my current Patreon supporters: Sirocco Magelli, YO, Madeline J, NTB, Ovin S, Tyler D, Todd Cook, Neil B, Anarchy, Vanilla, Rasmus K, Autumn Long, Lukash, Husband Vader, Amras, Dale from the Atlas Hub, Ty the Blazer, Joanne Anderson, Heath, The Portrait Dude, Akami, Mac for a Day, Ongrad, and Dead D Reza. You guys are the best.